Hi all, welcome to my channel Semper Astra. My name is Maggie and usually in my videos I talk about topics related to blindness. However, one of my hobbies is testing fragrances, wearing fragrances and also recommending to others beautiful, original and interesting fragrances. And this is why in today's video I would love to share with you my thoughts on Miss Dior Essence from Dior. Miss Dior Essence was released to the market in 2025 and it was developed by Francis Kirk Jan. Before I move on to describing the perfume notes in Miss Dior Essence, I would love to share with you few interesting facts about Miss Dior line. So first, Miss Dior perfume was released to the market in 1947. So we can clearly see how much history and how much tradition is behind this beautiful scent. Naturally, throughout the years, Miss Dior fragrances went through many reformulations which were dictated by changes in fashion but also by changes in law that dictates which ingredients can be used in perfumery and which can't be used in perfumery. The first Miss Dior was designed for the sister of Christian Dior, and sister of Christian Dior was Catherine Dior. Now moving on to describing the beautiful notes bouquet in Miss Dior Essence, I have to admit that it was very hard for me to prepare to this video, and this is because depending on the source there are different perfume notes listed for this perfume composition. So I decided to be guided by my own experience of this beautiful composition. The top notes in Miss Dior Essence are blackberry and black elder. And speaking about blackberry, from my experience, for the first 30 minutes after we apply the fragrance, the note of blackberry is very zesty, very fresh, very bright and very juicy. And after the first 30 minutes, for the remaining duration of the performance of this fragrance, we start noticing very delicate, very subtle, sweet, jammy accents in the blackberry note, which reminds us of jam or blackberry jam. I just have to emphasize again that this sweetness and jamminess is very subtle, very innocent and very delicate. So the note remains delicate and I would say even kind of fresh and at the same time elegant. Talking about the note of black elder, in some of the sources this note is described as flowery note. However, in my experience, this note is more reminding us of the juice made out of black elder berries. And I'm thinking this because of the very delicate sweetness of black elder that brings to mind a black elder drink or black elder juice or other kind of gourmand notes. And this delicately sweet note is beautifully complementing the jammy blackberry. Now moving on to the heart notes. The first note that is listed is jasmine sambac, and the second note in some of the resources is described as classic jasmine. In all honesty, my nose is not kind of trained enough to distinguish these two different notes, and I perceive these notes as a big, beautiful jasmine bouquet. In this composition, the notes of jasmine are definitely bold, I would say, definitely very present, but at the same time, they are elegant and they bring to this composition the freshness, the powderiness, brightness, and subtleness that is often characteristic for flowery notes. The base notes in these compositions are listed as woody notes and as an oak note, but some of the resources also just give us one note which is described as an oak woody note. From my experience, the woody oak notes in this fragrance are again very noticeable, in some ways bold, but at the same time very elegant and rich. And this wood reminds me of a very, very, very rich wood, very multifaceted wood, in some ways very deep and warm wood. And in a good sense of these words, these woody notes remind me of an old wood that has had a lot of life and carries a lot of memories. And I need it as a positive thing. It is not like a fresh wood, it is an old, mature, deep, beautiful wood. And I have to say that these woody notes beautifully complement the top berry notes, and the whole composition is also beautifully lifted by the flowery heart notes. Summing up, I would say that Miss Dior Essence is a perfect choice for elegant, more formal occasions, at least in my opinion, for both evening occasions and also occasions throughout the day, but still more formal and more elegant occasions. In my opinion, it is elegant scent, but at the same time it is very delicate and in some ways fresh and very, very innocent. In my opinion, this fragrance is perfectly suitable for people of all ages, and because it is kind of elegant and very luxurious, I think that more mature people will enjoy it, but because it also has very innocent accents, even very, very young people will feel comfortable in this scent as well. Talking about parameters of this scent, I have to say that the lasting power is good. I would describe it as good because it lasts on our skin about 4, 5, 6 hours. On the clothes, it lasts for much longer. And talking about projection, I would say that the projection is average. For the first 3, 4, 5 hours, it projects for slightly smaller distance than the length of our arm. But in my opinion, it is perfect for formal occasions, because in these occasions we like to be noticed, but we don't want to invade other people with our scent. Before I summarize this video, I just wanted to mention that since first Miss Dior was released to the market, it has always been the most popular fragrance in the world, and it is one of the best sellers, and it has been throughout all of these years. So definitely it is worth reaching out for Miss Dior fragrances, and in particular for Miss Dior Essence, which currently is my favorite scent from this line. However, because it went through many reformulations, before we commit ourselves to purchasing whole bottle, it is really important to test Miss Dior Essence and all of the Miss Dior fragrances. Thank you very much for watching this video today, and I will see you soon in my future videos. Bye bye!